The launch of this game was a complete disaster, especially on...
2 class action lawsuits have been filed against the developer, accusing them of straight up lying to investors.
To fully max everything on a single character, it'll cost around 100 grand.
You want me to pay you, what, $50 for fucking shiny blue? And not being ready for launch, and you're charging people $110 fucking dollars, $90 to $110.
It's a $15 difference, but you're getting basically nothing for that money.
The gaming industry is currently saturated with unfinished products, overpriced content, and microtransactions, and people are not happy with it. Every soulless corporate entity involved in publishing a video game shares an ultimate vision for their company: profit as much money as possible with the least amount of effort. For years, this has always been the mantra for the most notorious video game publishers, and it works. These companies know that there will always be a market for people who will spend dubious amounts of money to get a little bit more content out of their games. It is especially true when a game has an established worldwide brand, or if the game has major elements of nostalgia marketing by featuring publicly loved characters and stories. I mean, the market has been so dense that the same critically acclaimed video games have been recycled and released multiple times across 3 generations of console platforms. Gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and everyone wants a piece of the pie. But there is one video game developer who has mastered the profitable business of unoriginality, of hyping content that we've seen before but packaged differently. The one who has mastered the art of money. It's common knowledge that Riot Games never came up with anything original. All of their games, and I mean all of them, are just copies of their competitors' most popular games. They even copied a mobile game that was an actual copycat of their game that is also a copycat of an original game. But it's not as simple as being a copycat, because like it or not, Riot wouldn't have thrived if they just simply copied these other games. It's not that easy to become one of the biggest developers of some of the most popular games in the world without being remotely smart and creative. As it happens, Riot also studies video games that they want to copy. For example, with Dota, they noticed that the game mechanics are a bit high level when you compare it to other MOBA games. Because of this, the Dota community attracted niche players who enjoy high levels of gameplay with a bit of emphasis on micromanaging different elements in the game. The same happened with Auto Chess when it became so popular that they also decided to copy into TFT. The second major game that they tried to replicate is CSGO. CSGO is another game that has attracted and established a relatively niche player base compared to other popular shooters. Players who enjoy CSGO do so because of the mechanic-heavy aspect of the game, as it rewards consistency rather than creativity. Now, what did Riot do to effectively copy these 2 games? Well, obviously, they picked the good aspects of the gameplay. When replicating Dota, they copied the importance of farming to build items, the emphasis on game momentum and securing objectives, and some character designs. But they did a little twist on their end. They made the gameplay simpler. In League, there's no secret shops or couriers to pick up your items. Instead, you can just simply recall to the base. In a match of League, the balance could tip at any moment. A single play could win or throw the entire game.
T1 didn't find a response. Kuma, can he steal it?
Kuma will have to fire right here.
What the fuck?
This is why World Championships in League are just as popular and engaging as Dota World Championships, even though the prize pool isn't as high. When replicating CSGO, they obviously copied the movement and mechanics, but they added so many changes that you can barely notice the similarities. The art and design is obviously fundamentally different. Valorant's game design feels lighter. Every player in a team has different sets of unique abilities that add flavor to the game, causing the gameplay to not only reward consistency, but also give huge highlights to creativity. What these changes had in common is that they made the overall vibe of these copycat games to cater to the mainstream gaming market. It gives the overall feeling that anyone can try out their game and play. The colorful palettes they use in their design enamors potential players to click that big play button and start their gateway drug into the pits of Elo Hell. And they specifically mastered this strategy with Valorant. Valorant, like most Riot games, is free to play, which means that players are doing the marketing for the game. for the most part. Free-to-play games are easier to market to potential players. It's because people who currently play your game naturally advertises it through word of mouth by talking about it with their friends or possibly making public content with it without even spending a single buck. Now, most Japanese companies would be frothing at the chance to sue for copyright when this happens. But Western companies, and most especially Riot, wouldn't mind at all. In fact, they want you to do this. They love the attention because it's free marketing. In retrospect, it's very hard to sell a pay-to-play game unless they have an established brand or the game contains original designs and ideas that intrigue players. And we all know Valorant has neither of these. The only logical way for them to earn money is to initially gain large numbers of players to play their game, and then to constantly get as many players to spend money on in-game purchases. According to a recent report, the majority of Riot's income is from microtransactions, and it only makes sense. But you must be asking, how can they earn this much money through in-game transactions? Artificial scarcity. Scarcity is more than just removing a map from the competitive pool and then relaunching it in the future with some modifications and artificially creating hype using the community's nostalgic energy with that map. No. You see, Valorant has introduced quite an interesting in-game store mechanic. When they release a new skin bundle with all the effects at a discounted rate, they usually come with a timer. This is the amount of time you can buy this bundle for, before it is completely taken off the store and never to resurface again. This gives a sense of artificial scarcity, simulating the feeling of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy a product at a limited time. We've seen this before with the De Beers company, where they created an artificial scarcity with diamond, even though it's not as rare as they want you to believe.
How else could 2 months' salary last forever? A diamond is forever. De Beers.
And they have an ungodly amount of diamond stocked up in their warehouse. Occasionally, some gun skins that you're looking for may appear at your personal weekly store that refreshes every 1 to 2 weeks. When it's gone, you'll just have to wait for it to reappear again. By the way, some of the items in the bundles, like the knife, are labeled free. But if you buy it individually, it is completely overpriced. They designed it in a way that buying the bundle is supposed to give you a false sense of saving your money. So if you want to only buy a single gun from that bundle or just the knife, there's a chance that you'll be convinced to buy the bundle instead because it supposedly gives you a better deal. So you end up giving them more money in the end. If you ask me, it's quite smart. People complain about this every single time, saying that it's predatory and greedy, but they end up buying the skins anyway. One of the leading reasons why they're able to do this is because Valorant restricts community-driven content. I know, we've talked about this in the past, but unlike CSGO, with varying items costing from thousands of dollars all the way down to a few cents, Valorant skins and other in-game cosmetics are all produced by Riot themselves. Since there's no other creator or community-made content, they have a monopoly on the price of the market, and no one else can compete. This is completely their prerogative since this is their game, but this also means that the design decisions may come out as homogeneous because there's not a lot of innovative designs coming from the community. But if you ask me, this is not even the icing on the cake. Valorant has a secret sauce that's giving them way more profits than you'd expect. It may seem that it's hiding in plain sight, but it's right in front of us all this time. The secret sauce behind their success? Radianite Points. Everything that I've said regarding Valorant's in-game transactions up until this point is used with Valorant Points. Valorant Points are purchased with real money in the store. It is the primary in-game currency that you use to buy skins and Battle Pass. But it is not the only currency that you use to unlock additional content. Valorant has a secondary in-game currency called Radianite. It may seem insignificant at first, but later on, it becomes a priority before you even know it. You see, when you purchase in-game skins, you expect it to have visual and sound effects just like what you saw in the preview, right? Wrong. You only get the base appearance of the skin without all the effects that attracted you in buying it in the first place. So what you're essentially buying is the ability to buy those effects. In short, when you purchase an overpriced skin, you're only buying half of it. The other half, you unlock it with Radianite Points. And that is a completely separate currency. And it's not like you buy the effects in one go. Each type of effects are sold separately. which means that buying the kill animation does not unlock the reload animation and other effects. Additionally, you can also purchase different variants of the same skin with Radianite Points. So, how do you get these Radianite Points? There are two ways. Either you buy them with Valorant points or you unlock them through Battle Pass. You can already unlock free Radianite points when you play, but it is significantly increased when you purchase the Battle Pass and unlock its additional content. In a nutshell, you have to buy more Valorant points to unlock more Radianite points, essentially doubling the amount of money you have to spend. This is a foolproof plan that Riot has developed to secure their revenue. To top it off, they designed the default skin of the guns to be bland and boring. You might be adamant on not buying the skins and settling for the default designs, but then you'll constantly play more games and see other people's skins. Another genius thing that Riot did is that you can equip other people's skins. They let you experience an awesome looking skin with cool effects as a way to try to convince you. So, you eventually get jealous enough that you buy it yourself, so you can look at it constantly and then flex on your teammates. Riot is a video game company that's taken the industry by storm with how they market their games. Obviously, they have other revenue sources by selling corporate sponsorships, streaming rights to tournaments, and merchandise. However, they are also heavily invested in their own products. Riot is carefully building characters and stories that they can eventually market in the future. We first saw this with League of Legends. No one really cared about its lore at first, but then Riot started building an established world with its own characters and politics. Over the years, they have built enough intrigue that they even took a risk by working with Fortiche and Netflix to make Arcane. The result was a smashing success. Arcane received critically acclaimed reviews by the minute, breaking Netflix records and gaining popularity worldwide so much that a second season was announced even before the first season finished airing. Without a doubt, Riot wishes to do the same with Valorant, which is why they are slowly establishing the lore and its characters as early as now. The game is slowly building intrigue, hints, Easter eggs that lead to the breadcrumb path that is the lore. Riot's biggest investment is story, and without a doubt, they will make use of that story. And I'd be lying if I said that it doesn't excite me one bit.